Thank you and good morning, everyone. I really hope all of you physically healthy and mentally happy. So before the, actually every day I always thinking about how I really can, teach or explain Dharma to you, how to benefit. Because if I choose, very huge, like a thick book, it may, benefit a little bit, not much. If I talk, if I explain you, the teaching looks very interesting, look kind of, look very nice. Also, you feel, well, it's very nice. It looks very easy. Also, it may not benefit for you. Therefore, I always thinking how I really can, explain, teach, the Dharma to you, how to benefit. Therefore, it is not easy to select the, topic and the books. Many of the Dharma book, which is, so we have been using for our study, for our practice, is based on, the Tibetan language. All the Tibetan Dharma book written by Tibetan master, those are mainly, composed mainly for Tibetan who live in Tibet, mainly composed, written for, the monks and nuns who have a, totally, free from the busyness, no busy. They can spend their time for studying Dharma for whole life, whole day. Also, they had a time to spend their time for meditation for whole day. Therefore, many of the Dharma book written in Tibetan, translated into English, sometimes is not stable for, mainly for, you guys, because most of you are Singaporean. Because every day, somehow you are always busy. You don't have a lot of free time to read all the pages, all the the topics. So therefore, as a beginner, I don't want to use like a great treatise Lamrim is too big for you. Then the Heart Sutra is very short teaching, but the meaning is very profound. So therefore, I need to choose the right, textbook, Dharma book, to explain to you how to benefit for you. Therefore, not easy to, choose the textbook. Even though all of you are very busy, still you really have a strong, pure motivation, strong kind of, desire to study and to practice the Dharma. which is very good. You have the motivation. The second most important is how, we practice Dharma. This is a very important question. Everybody has this question. I want to practice Dharma, but I don't know how to practice Dharma. This is a very important question. For this question, there will be so many answers from different monks and nuns or different Dharma brother and sister. Somebody you will say, oh, you want to practice Dharma, you need to do meditation. The answer is correct. But how to do meditation is also, question of one question. Then somebody, may say, oh, if you want to practice Dharma, you need to take refuge to Drepung. The answer is correct. Again, what does mean Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and how I, take refuge? This again, question above question. Then somebody will may say, oh, if you want to practice Dharma, you need to do a lot of chanting, recitation. Also, the answer is correct. But again, what kind of chanting I need to do? What kinds of recitation, mantra I need to recite? How I should chant, how I should recite the mantra. This also again, question on question. So my answer for you, if you want to practice Dharma, very simple. I'm not going to say, do meditation, do recitation, take refuge, do, a mantra offering. The first easy answer for you, easy one, you always need to control your negative thoughts, your negative minds. Always. Once you're able to control your negative thoughts, then you can do meditation because your mind becomes very calm. You don't have a lot of destructive mind because you already control your mind, negative mind. Then, based on controlling your negative mind, then when you recite mantra, you're doing chanting, everything becomes very pure because you control your negative minds. Also, you control your negative minds, then when you take refuge, they become very pure. Without controlling our negative minds, all our Dharma practice, recitation, chanting, generosity, everything became very polluted practice. For example, you cook very nice food, but the food, mixed with a little poison. This means you look very nice, but when you eat, you feel your stomach full, but at the same time, it brings a lot of sickness. Therefore, if you want to practice Dharma, always control your negative thoughts, negative minds. Then again, there's a question, how I should control my negative thoughts. then my answer for you, the negative thoughts, the negative minds look like sickness. When you are sick, so what kind of medicine you need to take? When I am sick, what kind of medicine I need to take? There are not just one answer. Definitely said, what kind of sickness do you have? According to your sickness, that you need to take medicine. Clear? Medicine. When we think about the negative thoughts, we have, a lot of negative thoughts. The worst thought is anger, hatred, attachment, and jealousy. Anger, hatred, jealousy, and attachment. These four, thoughts is really a very strong, powerful poison. Attachment, anger and hatred, and jealousy. For 24 hours, when we have our negative thoughts arise, is maybe attachment or anger, hatred, and jealousy. Mostly, these four negative thoughts is just, arising after one another. Then the root of, those negative thoughts is ignorance. Controlling ignorance is not easy. It takes time. It takes time. It doesn't mean you should not, put effort how to control ignorance. Without, controlling ignorance, we can control anger, hatred, attachment, jealousy for short time. We can control temporarily. We cannot control forever. Therefore, it's very important to control, all the negative thoughts, particularly attachment, anger, hatred, jealousy. Whether you are very young, very old, or like a middle age, or you are rich, you are poor, you are male, female, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, the negative thoughts always produce sufferings and problems. Therefore, all the Buddha teachings mainly taught us controlling negative thoughts. So my answer for you, if you want to practice Dharma, control your negative thoughts, because we don't want suffering. If you don't want suffering, control your negative thoughts. Also reducing, certain problems, you need to control your negative thoughts. Right? Therefore, it's so important to practice the Dharma for controlling our negative thoughts, particularly hatred, anger, attachment, and jealousy. Because those bring a lot of negative energy, a lot of suffering, a lot of unpleasant things in our life. So today we discuss how to control all the negative thoughts, particularly anger, hatred, attachment, and jealousy. So all this practice, then you need to go through meditation. So we have been, studying Dharma for many years. If you need to make a conclusion about your practice, very simply say, decrease your negative thoughts, increase your positive thoughts. Always be patient, be compassionate. Then practice the 6 perfections. Then you will achieve Buddhahood. Right? So therefore, actually, it is very important to study Dharma. You need to attend classes. You need to read a lot of Dharma books. But always make sure you must remember, you must know how to conclude the practice, the study. If you don't know how to make a conclusion about your study, your practice, then look like you are entering into supermarket. When you go through all the the sections, oh, there's a rice, there's a coffee, or there's a flower, fruit. Everything you can see. You can see it, see them. Same thing, when you open the Dharma books, you can see, oh, I need to practice this. After you close the Dharma book, you don't know anything. You don't know nothing how to practice Dharma. Therefore, it is important to conclude. So beginning of the 8 verses for mind training. Say, mind training. Tibetan we call lo zhong. Lo means mind. Training means, practice, or Tibetan word zhong means practice or purify or familiarized. So therefore, 8 verses for mind training. It has only 8 paragraphs. We think it's a very, little kind of teaching. When you think the meanings is very profound, very relevant, very easy to practice. The first verse is, with the determination to achieve the highest aim, with the determination. So everybody has a very strong, determination to achieve the highest aim, which is Buddhahood. We have. So how we should achieve the highest, achievement? Then what the reason you want to achieve the highest aim? Why you want to achieve the highest aim? Why? Why you want to be a doctor? Why? In the past, traditionally, everybody, I think, could say, I want to be a doctor to save other life, to save life, to benefit others. But this day, if somebody asks you why you want to be a doctor, engineer, because if I become a doctor, I can make a lot of money. Now you can see, 2 different motivation. If somebody asks you why you wish to be a Buddha, You should not say, I want to be very happy. No, you must say, for the benefit of all sentient beings. Therefore, the first line, teach us our achievement, which is the highest aim, Buddhahood. The second line, teach us what the reason you wish to be Buddha, because for the benefit of all sentient beings. Then next two lines, which surpasses even the wish fulfilling gem. May I hold them dear at all time. That means I want to be Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In order to achieve Buddhahood, what you need to practice? You need to practice compassion, great compassion. Therefore, may I hold them, refer to all sentient beings, dear all time. So this, first, the stanza is very short, but it explains the achievement, the reason for achievement, how to achieve Buddhahood, right? Therefore, everybody must memorize the 8 verses for maintaining. When you walk up, you chant this chanting, you recite these verses. Then, first, after you recite these verses, then you need to take the, you need to generate bodhicitta based on the visualization or informed of the, Buddha image. Therefore, with a determination to achieve the 8 highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even though wishful gems, may I hold them dear at all time. That means all sentient beings, even individually, the sentient beings are more important than the, wishful feeling gems. Most important than anything else, like a diamond, gold. If somebody asks you to choose which one you want, a sentient being, a diamond, you need to choose the sentient being, right? May I hold them dear all time. Therefore, as a Mahayan practitioner, we should not ignore, we should not, exclude any sentient beings when you practice Mahayan path. Therefore, first, achievement, the reason for achievement, how to achieve the achievement. The second verses, stanza, whenever is mainly explain how to control your ego, your pride. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as a lowest among all. And from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others are superior. Whenever interact with someone, right? That means you always have to be very low kind of profile, or you always have to be, kind of remind the lowest position. Even though when you meet, someone who doesn't have anything, you are much richer, you have a lot of things, but when you meet one of the poorest person, you must respect those person more superior than yourself. So these verses mainly explain need to control your pride, your ego. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest among all. And from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. This is general meaning. Then the profound meaning is explained how to practice bodhicitta based on exchanging self and other. Self and other. So respectfully hold other as superior. So first verses, why you need to hold all sentient beings dear at all time. Why? Why respectfully hold others as superior? Others are more important than yourself. Why others are more important? The first answer, I always wish to hold others are superior because I don't want suffering. I want happiness. Happiness. Therefore, our happiness, even though within one day your happiness, my happiness, our happiness is 100% depends on other. Think about this morning when you woke up. There's a water in your kitchen, in your bathroom. There's electricity. You're using the soap, the toothbrush, the toothpaste, the soap, the towel, the slipper, everything you are enjoying is come from others. Without others, we cannot be happy. Therefore, others are more important than myself because I want happiness. I don't want suffering. The second, why you need to hold others are superior than yourself. Because the self-centered attitude, only the self-cherishing attitude is the root cause to bring all the sufferings. Others-centered attitude, other self-cherishings, other cherishings attitudes bring only happiness. Therefore, I want to hold other superior than myself. It's explain how to practice bodhicitta based on exchanging self and other. Also teach us reduce your ego, reduce your pride. Always remind the lowest position. Because what we do usually, when we meet, when we interact with a famous person, we have a very respect. We pay respect. When we interact someone who are much poorer than you, we always look down. We feel, very strong ego. We feel pride. Therefore, we always need to control our pride. There's no such as, proper reason to be, proud feeling. Why? If you are very famous, you should not feel, the ego, pride. Without other, you cannot be famous. Becoming famous, you became famous because of other. If you are rich, yes, you have so many things. Everything you have because of other. You have a very successful life. Or your brother and sister, have a very successful life. You should not just feel pride. Because without others, your friends, your relative, none of them became, have a successful life. Therefore, others are more important than yourself. There's no reason to be, feel proud. There's no reason to have a strong ego. Therefore, whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest among all, and from the very depth of my heart, and from the pure heart, respectfully hold others as superior. Also, it teaches us how to tame your mind when ego arises, pride arises, self-centered attitude arises, how to control. That means always respect other more superior than you. Then there's no jealous, there's no ego, there are no self-centered attitudes, there are no cherishing attitudes. Why we need to control our pride and ego? Why? Among your friends, among your family, someone has a very strong ego, very strong pride. How do you feel when you see them, he or her? You feel very annoying, right? The egotic person always look down other always look down. They always want to be, top among everybody. When you have this kind of ego and, like a very pride mind, then you will do so many bad things in order to remain that position, in order to have this kind of, name and fame. Therefore, pride, ego, self-centered attitudes are very bad. Then line number 3. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind. And as soon as mental and emotional affliction arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avoid them. So, when we do something, in any kinds of deeds we perform, always need to analyze, always need to prove, always need to check our mind. Very important. Because you can see someone look like very, very high practitioner, or always do Dharma practice, always practice Dharma, always do, a lot of good things. How we know, he or she really practice Dharma? How we know I, yourself, right? I mean not me, yourself. How we know we practice the proper Dharma. When you check your mind, in all my deeds may I prove into my mind. So when you check your mind, then you will realize, because you know your mind, I know my minds. When you check your mind, if you realize, oh, right now I'm doing chanting, I have a strong kind of ego, self-centered attitudes. Maybe I have a strong pride. That means you must realize, you must control. Otherwise, the Dharma practice cannot be pure Dharma practice. In all my deeds, may I prove into my mind, and as soon as mental, emotional affliction arise, as they endanger myself and others. When you realize any of the negative thoughts arise, particularly attachment, anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, you must control. Because it is, this kind of mind is very in danger for yourself, for others. For example, when you check your mind, you noticed anger is arise. If you let it arise continuously, it destroys your happiness. It makes you very unhappy for all day. Then it makes other people very unhappy. Also, it destroyed other happiness. Therefore, control anger. When you check your mind, you notice I have a sense of hatred. Sense of hatred, the hate yourself, you hate other. If you let the sense of hatred arise continuously, also is very harmful for yourself, harmful for others. If you want to be happy, want happiness, control the anger, control the pride, jealousy, all the negative thoughts. As soon as mental and emotional affliction arise, as they endanger myself and other, not only in danger for this life, is very in danger for next life, after next life. If you don't want happen, you don't want suffering, control them. This is exactly what Chandrakirti said in the intermediate way. Somebody harm you and you retaliate. If you harm back, it doesn't go away. The harm already done for you. It's totally against with the Dharma practice. It's again with your daily life. Because if you anger let arise, it destroys your happiness in this life. Through the anger, we accumulate negative karma. This negative karma will harm us in the future life. Right? Therefore, same thing is, as they endanger myself and other, may I strongly confront them and avoid them. That means when you realize, you must control, you must suppress, you must eliminate. Otherwise, look like you notice you are eating poison food. Continuously you are eating the poison food. Even though you know the poison food is no good. This, it teaches us always check our minds when we engage into any action. particularly when we do Dharma practice, always need to check in our minds. Make sure you have a pure motivation is very pure, your intention is very pure, you don't have any kinds of negative thoughts. Particularly make sure your practice, you practice based on like a compassion, kindness, tolerance. In all my deeds, may I approve into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional affliction arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avoid them. So this is, important advice. Check your mind. When you realize, you must control. And the fourth line is also very nice. When I see being of unpleasant characters, a Tibetan word is a Rangjin Ngempa. When I see, naturally being unpleasant characters. When I see being of unpleasant characters, and those oppressed by strong negative and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered jewel treasures. When I see the being of unpleasant character, in our every day we can see, naturally very unpleasant person, naturally very unpleasant character. What does it mean? For example, you have a brother or sister, uncle, auntie, you always been very nice for them. But their reaction is very unpleasant. They have a very, very unpleasant character. You offer a food, their reaction is very bad towards you. When you walk around, you are like a HDB. You always be nice with them, always respect them, but their character is very unpleasant, right? Then also you feel a bit annoying, a bit angry. You have this kind of feeling, right? So then since we totally ignore them, so we should not be like that. Therefore, when I see beings of unpleasant character, friends, family, neighbors, relative, colleague, unpleasant character, colleagues and friends, so and so. And and those oppressed by strong negative and suffering. Usually what we do, when the unpleasant person is, we feel very unpleasant, therefore we don't like them. We don't like him or her. When the person has a kind of big problem, we feel very happy. Particularly when your enemy having a lot of problems, suffering, we feel happy. We thought, wow, good. He must need this. Usually we have this kind of feeling. So we should not be like that. Therefore, and those oppressed by strong negative and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find. Why? Because when you see the unpleasant person, when they have a lot of suffering and problem, you should not feel happy. You should not feel happy. So based on those problems, you need to realize all the negative thoughts. cause to suffering, cause to era suffering. Based on those unpleasant person, you can practice compassion. You will have the opportunity to practice compassion, practice patience, practice self-realization. Therefore, when you see unpleasant person has a the kind of bad reaction toward you, what you need to learn, I always try to be a very pleasant person. If somebody smile toward you, you must show very, like smile back to them. And somebody show you respect, you must pay respect back. Particularly, those your enemy who having problem, you should not feel happy, you should feel sorry, and practice compassion, patience. Therefore, those are very rare person you have to practice the Dharma. Therefore, may I hold them dear. You should not hold them as your enemy. Also, you should feel, these kind of people are very rare for me to practice my Dharma. You need to feel, you discovered a jewel treasures. Why? Again, why I need to feel when I see the unpleasant person, I need to feel, I discovered the treasure. Again, you wish to be Buddha, you need to practice compassion. You need to practice 6 perfection. Among the 6 perfection, the patience, the perfection of the practice patience is most important. Without them, how you can practice patience? Those are the rare or very important person to develop your love and compassion. So usually, when we see, something bad happen for our enemy, we feel happy. We should not be like that. When I see beings of the unpleasant characters and those oppressed by the strong negative and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as I have discovered a jewel treasure. Right? So when we see the unpleasant person, we feel very upset, we feel very unhappy. We should not, you must feel very happy. I saw this, my enemy. This is the best opportunity to practice my passion. Best opportunity to generate your loving, love and compassion towards them. It's really a rare opportunity. This also teaches us control your anger, cultivate patience, cultivate love and compassion. The 5th, when others is also in our daily life. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. This also is always happening in our life. Particularly as a lay person, it's always happening in your life. When you are in school, you are much better than others. You learn things very quickly. Then you are, other student jealous you. You got the higher marks than others. Actually, based on your study, based on your effort, you got highest mark, or you got the highest, higher than others. But they're jealous about your study. Then they say, because he is not good student, but he got the good mark because the teacher and this. Oh, because he or she got a good mark, because the family or the brother and sister, they are work in the office. Due to jealous, right? Treat me wrongly, then with abuse. You always, you things get very easily due to your, merit, due to your karma, due to some other reason. Things, everything easily, you got everything very easily. But people have a jealous, then they said so many things. Treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn. So why the people, don't like you? Because they are jealous about you. They are jealous about your name and fame and your family. They have so many kinds of jealousy about you. Then, in order to be, victor, they abuse you. They say something you haven't done, but they say, oh, he or she did this, slander. That means that time, what you need to think, may I take upon myself the defeat. Actually, they want to defeat you. So therefore, let them defeat me. The defeat, the lost one, I will take. The victoria I offer to them. You must think in your mind. Let them abuse me. I will accept the abusing, the slander things, but I offer the victory to them. Again, you always try to remain in the lowest position. Also, when somebody, defeat you, somebody treat you wrongly, you should not feel angry, hated. Just say, if they're happy, abusing me, let them abuse me. If they are feel happy to criticize me, let them criticize. I'm okay to be defeated person. Mentally, you need to think. Let them be victorious, right? So this is happen for everybody every day. Due to this reason, that you feel very annoyed, you feel very unhappy, then slowly you will go through the depression and anxiety. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victorious. Then again, the stanza number 6 is also happening every day in your life, in our life. When someone whom I have, right? When someone whom I have, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreat me in extremely hurtful way, may I regret them still as my precious teacher. Sometimes it's not easy to think that way, right? Because you always have them. Whatever they need, you always give things to them. But from their side, mistreat me extremely hurtful way. You have them, they harm you. So how you can be patient? Particularly, so for many years you support them, you have them, then you have a hope. Okay. Instead of they harming me, they will help me. You have this, hope. But instead of benefiting you, helping you, they harm you. It's a very kind of painful situation. Then since you say, okay, since I will stop them, stop talking to them, helping them, I'm totally going to, stop them, support, helping, whatever. Then you totally ignore the person. Therefore, as a Mahayan practitioner, we should not be like that. We must still, they harm us, right? We respect them as our teacher, the precious teacher. When someone whom I have helped, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreat me in extremely hurtful way, may I regard them still as my precious teachers. So usually why we need to rely on the teacher? What teacher does for us? What teacher benefit us? We fully respect to Buddha Shakyamuni. Why? Buddha Shakyamuni teach us be patient, should not be angry, be compassionate, should not be, angry person. Also, Buddha taught us, when you get angry, you need to practice compassion. Therefore, same way, when someone whom I have helped mistreat me extremely hurtful, that time you must think, oh, this person actually, showing me how to practice love and compassion. This person, showing me how to practice patience. Therefore, those person you can respect as your precious, like teacher. Instead of harming, you must benefit. Instead of hating, you must respect them as the precious teacher. It's also teaching us control your anger, control your hatred. Should not regard them your enemy. Regard them as your teacher, precious teacher. Then the next stanza 7 is based on controlling your anger and hatred, based on generating love and compassion. Now it's teaching us how to practice, giving and taking, like Tong Len, practice of giving and taking. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers. So again, we need to know the point. At the beginning, what he said, may I hold them dear at all time. So you really have a pure love and compassion. Always wish all sentient beings be happy. Therefore, in brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers. When you offer your joy in your benefits to other feel very happy. That means you're fulfilling your wishing. Also, not just giving your benefit, giving your happiness, giving your joyness, also taking what? Directly, indirectly, may I quickly take upon myself all hurts and painful of my mother. That's exactly, you are giving all your good things, your happiness, your joyness, your pleasance, everything you are giving to all mother sentient beings. Also, you are taking their suffering, their pain, their hurtings. Why? Because you respect all sentient beings are more superior than yourself. So in order to practice, like a giving and taking, first we need to control our anger and hatred, jealousy, and ego. Based on controlling anger, hatred, jealousy, ego, they're very easy to practice, tong, len, giving and taking. There's a directly, indirectly. Why need to mention directly, indirectly? Sometimes it's okay, you can directly, you can show someone you really have a pure love and compassion towards them. It's okay to show. Sometimes it's not okay to show you have a pure love and compassion to others. You have to practice the love and compassion very secretly. Also, when you do practice, give and taking, sometimes you can do openly to someone. But most time, you have to do very secretly, indirectly. There's one meaning. Second meaning, how I can benefit all sentient beings directly. How? There's no way you can benefit directly all sentient beings. We think, yes, you can. Once you control your anger and hatred, you're not going to harm anybody, human being or non-human being. You're not going to harm anybody. You can directly benefit. How we can indirectly benefit all sentient beings? How? For example, these days there are so many ways you can benefit indirectly for all sentient beings. For example, let's say we have the Red Cross, like the kind of NGO. When you make a donation, like $1 donation for the Red Cross, you can benefit for one mother. Through the mother, they can benefit their children. From their children, they can benefit their children. There's one way indirectly benefit all sentient beings. Right? Directly, indirectly benefits. Also directly, indirectly, you can take the suffering and unpleasant and hurtful things. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quickly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. That means practice giving and taking. Then number 8 is very important. May all this remain undefiled. That means may all this mean practicing compassion, practicing love, practicing taking and giving, whatever practice we do on our daily life. May all this remain undefiled, without mixing with the negative thoughts. By the strength of the maiden's conscience, or worldly conscience, undefiled. This day, all our practice, almost 99 average practitioner, almost 99, the practice cannot be undefiled. It's always with the defiled. Because of the the mendant conscience, holy conscience. Again, is always have been in our daily life, right? Holy conscience. First, when we have a suffering, when we feel suffering, we feel very unhappy. When we have a happiness, we feel very happy. Again, our mind is not enough strong to accept the suffering. We don't have enough strong mind to just, rejoice about the pleasant. Suffering thing happen, become very unhappy. Little pleasant thing happen, we feel very happy. This is, one of the worldly concerns. Then, gain and loss. When we gain a lot of things, we feel so happy. Also, when we gain little thing, also we feel very happy. When we lost so many things, also we feel very unhappy. Lost little thing, also we feel very unhappy. So, when you gain good things, just remain in, peacefully. When you lost something, also you must remain in the peacefully. When you have a suffering, you realize the suffering, you need to know how to control, how to reduce the suffering. Should not be very unhappy. When you have a happy moment, you have a lot of happiness thing happen, you must realize, oh, I'm so lucky to have this kind of happiness. You should not feel, suddenly, feel, ego and pride. Then name and, like a fame. When you have a little, when you become little, like a important person, when you become important person in your family, you feel very happy. When you become important and famous in your company, your society, also you feel very happy. When you lost your name and fame, again, we feel very unpleasant, very unhappy. We should not be like that. We always control the 8 worldly concern. So you must check what are they. You must know how to control them. This one. By all this remain undefiled, by the stand of the 8, the mundane concerns, and may I recognizing all things as illusion, devoting of clinging, be released from the bondage. Among all worldly concerns, all the negative thoughts, anger, hatred, jealousy, ego, everything rooted by ignorance. Therefore, first we need to recognize all things as illusion, conventional phenomena, illusion. Then devoting, clinging, or self-centered attitude, self-cherishing, self-grasping, release from the bandage or release from the samsara. So this 8 verses is, looks very short, but it's a very important teaching. If you memorize these 8 verses, do just once, like practice every day. it really will change your life. For example, what I thought yesterday, today, like Sunday, I will explain the 8, the mind and 8 verses for mind training. Usually I know the verses, but I didn't memorize. Yesterday evening, I walked from here to the Klang Stadium, then Juru, then Marina Barrage, Marina Bay, then came back to TBC. All the way, I use my phone, then I Google, then I memorize the 8 verses. So also please everybody, you must memorize these 8 verses. It's a very important practice, also very easy to memorize, quite easy to practice. Right? What time is it now? 11:10. Okay, now we all together chant, these verses one by one and go through the experience. Okay, first we chant very, like slowly, with a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem. May I hold them dear at all times. Please follow by the sentence, do some reflection. Whenever I interact with someone, anybody, anyone, and may I view myself as the lowest among all. And from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I prove into my mind, and as soon as the mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I sternly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those opposed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreat me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. To benefit, in brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quickly take upon myself all hurts and pain of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stain of the eight mendant conscience, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from the bondage. Okay, the conclusion, the first stanza is explain why we need to practice bodhicitta, why we need to practice the mind training. Why, right? Then stanza number 2 to 7 mainly teach us how to practice the conventional bodhicitta based on controlling anger, attachment, ego, pride, and based on practicing patience, love, compassion, how to practice the conventional bodhicitta. Then the stanza number 8 is kind of conclusion, also mainly teach us how to practice the conventional bodhicitta. That means when you look the sentence, it's quite clear. First, achieving bodhicitta to benefit all sentient beings. Need to practice bodhicitta based on compassion. Then, in order to continuously practice the Mahayana path for achieving Buddhahood, we need to practice the 6 perfections. Among the 6, the perfection of practicing patience is very important. Because if you don't have patience, if you don't have a pure love and compassion, no bodhicitta, no Buddhahood. Then also in our daily life, whatever we engage into any action, asking check your motivation in order to have the proper motivation. Then last, recognizing all things as illusion. Illusion. So in order to realize things as illusion, right? Then first you need to realize emptiness. In order to realize emptiness, recognizing, the negation to negate. Then is, this practice is very simple. It's complete practice for achieving, how to achieve Buddhahood. So today, we study a little bit about the 8 verses for maintaining. Then next Sunday, we will discuss a little bit more precisely about the 8 verses of maintaining and the 7 point. 7 point based on the Guru Puja. So there's few verses is linked with the 7 point of practicing, 7 point maintaining. Okay, so now it's almost 11:30. We have a few minutes. If there's any question, please feel free.
Yes, Geshe-la. For an individual with low self-esteem, when practicing verse 2, how to not fall into a more deeper low esteem negative character?
I think it's a very common human problem. We are very easy to be, low, what do you call the low?
Self-esteem.
The
Esteem.
Esteem, low self-esteem, right? Actually, we feel, usually we are like, most of us over 50. We thought we are very mature, fully mature person. Actually, we always been like a child. Some little good thing happen, we feel very happy, our esteem, or, kind of become very good. Little bad thing happen, then our low esteem become very low. Still, we believe ourselves, I'm very mature. Actually, we still look like a child. There's no any reason to be, the low esteem, right? I cannot remember the words. First, always remember what kind of, situation you are in. Doesn't matter what kind of difficulty you are in. It is not your last life. It is not your last life. You have another, many lives. Second, you always recognize, I'm a human being. I recognize I have a Buddha nature. Any kind of situation you are in, any kinds of difficulty you are going through, but still I have the Buddha nature. I have the potential to be Buddha. All the difficult situation cannot really destroy my Buddhahood. So the Buddha nature, recognize Buddha nature. Always remember, it is not my last life. So you have a big problem for the short time. Still you have so many other lives. Then you always remember the impermanence. Nothing can be permanent. Everything, will change. Right? So last time we have a class about impermanence. Buddha said very clearly, the healthy can be destroyed by sickness. Sickness, not the physical disease. Is talking about aging and death. That's why healthy can be destroyed by sickness. The youthful can be destroyed by aging. Then the poverty can be destroyed by decline. The life can be end with the death. Life end doesn't mean it end forever. This life can be end, then there's another life. Therefore, something, some good thing happen, you should not feel so happy. You must recognize, I'm too lucky, I'm very lucky to have these good things. Some bad thing happens, you must reflect the truth nature of the samsara. Because Mini Kadampa said, when you sick, you are seriously ill, you should not be upset because this is the nature of the samsara. The death will come. You should not be very upset. You should not be shocked, because this is part of the samsara. This is the characteristic of samsara. Why are you in samsara? When you have the dukkha, it will happen for everybody, every time. Therefore, recognize Buddha nature. Always remember, it is not my last life. Remember impermanence. Then, you really get very easy to get out from the low steam. Yes, any question?
Yes, next question comes from UN.
Yes, UN?
Yes, morning, Geshe. This is also related to point number 2. I have a similar question, but after what you had explained, I also thought of this. So when you say that recognizing Buddha nature, I think especially some of us are educated Western. So sometimes from the Western thinking and adapting to this, there's a little bit of a gap. But recognizing Buddha nature means develop self-love, self-compassion, which means we are no different from the others. We are almost the same. So that also develop self-acceptance. So that's how I wrap my mind to enhance what you have just explained for verse 2. Yeah, just sharing my thought on verse 2.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think today, we stop class here. So you mentioned the Western thing. I think we are already too late to go back as a pure Asian people. We must adopt, the Western important education. We adopt too much of Western culture. But we say, I'm Asian. Yes, physically we are Asian. But the mental culture, we adopt too much Western, the lifestyle culture is totally destroyed that the Asian kind of, the inner culture is a bit too late to go back to the pure Asian. So if you're able to remain as a physical Asian, the mental Asian, then you are more closer to, Dharma, more closer to generate pure love and compassion. So if you have your children, if you have some, your relative children, let them adopt the Western education, not everything. Don't let them, totally indulge with the Western lifestyle. Okay, thank you so much for attending the Sunday class.
But Geshe, one last question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is regarding verse number 2 and number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So how shall we explain if the person is under the war or terrorism, or rather this can apply on a relatively peaceful place like Singapore, in regards to verse 2 and number 4?
Yeah, number 2 is, I think anybody can apply, right? So whenever I interact someone, always remain in the lowest position, respectfully, deeply whole other superior. So this one I cannot see, there's any problem, even though the Taos whoever apply this kind of practice. The number 4, right? The number 4 also this, the mind training. It can be useful anybody, believer, non-believer, Singaporean, no Singaporean, is because anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, ego always bring a lot of sufferings. So these verses teach us control them. Therefore, yes, it's like I personally I cannot see anybody any person cannot apply this kind of practice. Well, I don't know why this question asked. Why? Who asked this question? Can you explain me why you have this question?
Hold on, let me ping him.
Mm-hmm.
I may explain a little bit, Geshe La.
Mm-hmm.
I truly understand and I really respect this practice.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the same time, nowadays, we watch the news like under the Afghanistan, those kind of situation, the person who are suffering under the, is very much suffering. So is there still the way that is that they can still practice, or rather if we can have opportunity to tell them or share our thoughts of this Tibetan Buddhism, is there any way that is that we can so-called, share? Or that was my just wondering.
Of course, if you have someone who are in Afghanistan who involve this kind of tragedies, of course you can explain. There's one problem. Sometimes we know it is true, but the person is not ready to accept the truth due to, I think, cultures, the circumstances. If, also, I really thought, since the problem started in Afghanistan, the Taliban really start invasion, pass by pass. I thought, why this has happened? They have their own reason. When you discuss them, they have a lot of good reasoning to do this thing. So when we think, oh, yeah, how they are act is, we can see, is totally wrong. The action is wrong, but we need to check their motivation. Also, when we think, the situation is not easy. It's very complexity. The Afghanistan, Taliban, the Soviet Union, then America, then there's so many complex. Very simple. If you have any friend who are Afghan people who involved, yes, you can discuss, you can explain. This moment, we just do, practice of giving and taking, giving and taking. So this is the best at this moment. But I think this situation will become worse because of the ego, because of the, hurting their pride, and also jealousy. Now you can see all this problem is rooted by ego, jealousy, hatred, and self-centered attitudes. Again, these are all the problem arise based on the negative thoughts. Okay, so thank you so much for asking this question. Thank you so much for attending the class. I really hope you can learn a little bit this class and benefit a little bit for yourself, benefit for others. At the end, we do dedication. First, we dedicate all the merit to becoming ourselves to Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. Second, We dedicate all our merits today we have accumulated this morning to benefit all sentient beings, free all human beings from the COVID-19, and free all people from the suffering in the all parts of the world, particularly in Afghanistan. Also, in TBC, I'm still doing the soul offering every evening to benefit all sentient beings, but particularly benefit, all the decades, people. Also, we dedicate the merit to benefit all sentient beings, all the people who make contribution for the soul offerings. At the end, we dedicate our merit to live long life, all the spiritual masters, all the leaders, gurus, to benefit all kinds of human beings, all kinds of sentient beings.